In the immortal words of Ms. Frizzle from the TV show The Magic School Bus, in life, it is important to take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. This morning's Time for All Ages was one in which we took some chances, made some mistakes, and it's a little messy, technically speaking. But we were having a lot of fun, me and kids from 5 of our MLUC families, and I hope you'll enjoy it in that spirit.
So the story I'm going to tell is a very old story. It first appeared in a collection called the Huainanzi, a collection of essays that came out of a series of debates carried out at the court of Louis An. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The Prince of Huainan, one of the kingdoms of the Han Dynasty in what we now call China, sometime before 139 BCE. That's more than 2,100 years ago. That's a really long time ago. And it's been adapted and used for many different purposes since then. I have my own way of telling it, and I need some help with my way of telling it. So one of the things that I need help with has to do with horses. So whenever I say horse in the story, I need you to make a noise like a galloping horse. And I'm going to do this by like slapping on my legs. Everybody do that? Okay, good. And then the next part that I need help with is about somebody breaking his leg. Has anybody here ever broken a leg or an arm or anything like that? And did it make a big noise? No, I broke my ankle and it didn't make a big noise, but it felt like a big noise. It felt like there was an explosion inside my body. And then afterwards, so it sounded like in my head. It didn't really sound like, but in my head, it sounded like, and then afterwards, I made a lot of noises like this. Oh, so can you do that? Can you, and then, give it a try. You have to unmute yourself though. Sounds good. Okay. And then the third part I need help with is about a war. And at least from what I know, a long time ago, when there was a war, there would always be somebody who rode out at the front of the army and blew on a horn to tell the soldiers to keep marching. And I think maybe the horn sounded something like, doo, 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 doo. Okay, so every time you hear me say war, I want you to do that. And finally, the last thing is there's somebody in this story who says this a lot of times. He says, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, we'll see. And so when we get to that part, when you hear me say that, I want you to do, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, we'll see. Can you do that? Once upon a time, there was a farmer in a small country whose horse ran away. And his neighbors, when they heard, came to his farm and said, oh, it's so terrible that your horse ran away. The farmer replied, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We'll see. Later on, the farmer's horse came back and brought several wild horses, lots of horses, with her. His neighbors, when they heard, came to his farm and said, I guess you were right. It was a good thing that your horse ran away. The farmer replied, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We'll see. Later still, the farmer's son was bucked off of one of the wild horses and broke his leg.
Oh!
His neighbors, when they heard, came to his farm and said, I guess you were right. It wasn't a good thing that your horse ran away. Your son's leg wouldn't be broken if the horse had stayed home in the first place. The farmer replied, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We'll see. Soon the first country was involved in a border war. the neighboring country. And all the young men were called up to fight in the war. The farmer's neighbors said, I guess you were right. It was a good thing that your horse ran away. Your son's leg wouldn't be broken. If the horse had stayed at home, and he would have to go off and fight in the war. The farmer replied, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We'll see. And this is where the story ends. Here are the words that the ancient version used to finish it. Thence, good fortune turns into bad fortune, and bad fortune turns into good fortune. These changes never reach an end. Their complexity can never be fathomed, which basically means maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. We'll see. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Bye.